Hey there, my name's Drew Brashler, and in this video, I'm going to be showing you how to use the auto mixer on the Behringer X32 and Midas M32. If you're brand new to my channel, I am all about helping you feel more confident in your production gear no matter where you're starting from. So let's go ahead and dive in. Now, the auto mixer is going to be super helpful for anyone that has any multiple speakers on the stage talking at the same time. So this is going to be perfect for any panel interviews, anytime that you have multiple speakers up on stage talking, or multiple handhelds, or multiple lapels, or multiple headsets. Anytime you find yourself in the situation that you're going to have multiple people talking at the same time, use the auto mixer. It's going to help you a lot. And there's actually a very big difference in noise that's going to come through the PA between having the auto mixer turned on and the auto mixer turned off. So let's go ahead and show you how to actually get the auto mixer configured first. So the auto mixer is available to us on any of the X32 models and M32 models, and it is available to us on our first 8 channels. So it's only on channels 1 through 8. So if you do happen to have your wireless channels going into, say, 25 through 32, if you do happen to have them there and you're finding yourself with a weekend coming up or a show coming up that you need to have the auto mixer working on, you need to move those to be on channels 1 through 8. So you will have to do a little bit of reconfiguration of your scene. But once they are there, we can go ahead and select one of our channels, hit the home button, and then we will notice that there is a 1 and a 2 here when we're on our home tab. So if you layer down to the second layer, we have these 2 sections right here that says auto group and auto weight. Now, if we want to turn our auto mixer on any of these channels, we would just need to simply rotate this and choose our group that we're going to have them in the auto mixer. Now, there's 2 groups in the auto mixer of the M32 and X32. That means that we have the ability of having all 8 microphones controlled on one group, or if you had, say, 2 hosts and then a panel of 6 interviewees, you could have those 2 hosts on group X and all of those interviewees on group Y, which means that it's going to keep the hosts auto mixer together, just those 2 microphones, and then the remaining 6 panelists that are on group Y, those would be then auto mixed together on those 6 microphones, meaning that one of your hosts can always talk at the same time as the other panelists, and it's going to end up blending well together with those. But in most cases, most people are just going to be using one group, in which case I'm going to be choosing X. So what I'm going to do is I have my 3 microphones here, and we can do this up to 8 microphones, and I'm going to go through to my 3 different microphones and set them to group X. So then we can go to the next one, group X, and the 3rd microphone, group X. The very next thing that we need to do is we need to go find where the actual controls are for the auto mixer, which is actually in the meters button. So if you go and hit meters, we can then tab or page select all the way over to auto mix, which is right here. And this is where we can activate the auto mixer and control any of the channels that are in this auto mixer section. So if we want to activate it, all we have to do is press our active button. And then our Y group is active here. So if we have any channels that are selected on our Y group, they would be able to be active or not active there. Now, one thing to mention about the auto mixer is this is post fader, meaning that whatever fader level you have your channels set to is then going to go into this auto mixer, and then the auto mixer is then going to be in between the post fader and the actual bus. So this is a good thing, because if this was pre-fader, that means if this microphone was muted, and they were checking that microphone backstage, and you had a conversation between 1 and 2 going, then once this microphone 3 starts talking in the back, going check, check, check on their microphone check, that would start interfering with the auto mixer settings for the other two microphones and actually bringing the microphones 1 and 2 down, which is not something that we want. So Behringer was great in implementing this in a post-fader configuration, which is great because if I have any of these other microphones muted, it's not going to affect the auto mixer section of this X32. So I'm going to unmute this microphone here. And so then we have our auto weight settings. Now this is going to be beneficial if you want your host microphone to be just a little bit louder than the rest of the panelists. And say you had your senior pastor along with another pastor out on stage, and you wanted the senior pastor to have a little bit more priority in this auto mixer, then what you can do is you can use the auto weight setting on their channel. So say your channel 1 is your senior pastor or your host. All we have to do is we can go and select through our 8 channels here using our scroll knob here. So we go to 1, and then all we have to do is auto weight up. So you can weight up to 12 dB up and all the way to 12 dB down from 0. So if we wanted to have a little bit more priority on channel 1, all we would have to do is turn it up just a little bit. Likewise, if we had a really loud speaker and we were wanting them to be brought down a little bit in comparison to the rest of the panelists, we could then bring that person down just a little bit. Now, I do have some audio of 3 panelist microphones that were live in a convention-style sized room, and these are actually headsets. So there's not much reverberance coming from these headsets in comparison to like a lav mic that is clipped down here. The headsets give a little bit more presence of the vocal, but a little less of the ambience of the room. Now, this is a great situation that they were using a headset, but in most situations, they're going to be a lapel and there's going to be a lot of room noise. So I do want to show you guys, though, that even with a headset microphone, I'm getting a lot of room noise in these 3 microphones. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn off the auto mixer, and I'm going to play the audio back 1 time through. And then what I'll do is I'll go ahead and activate our auto mixer, and then you can listen to the difference in her isolated voice in the auto mixer and when the panelists switch between one and the other. So here we go.
And you'll be able to translate that with your client or patient, in your case, experience, your full stack security, the recovery and full-time benefits that you get from our reliability. And with that, I'm going to punt it over to you, Greg.
All right. Well, Diane, thank you. Jerry, thank you. Really good job. You know, it's what I heard in that is both, you know,
Okay, so this next time, I'm going to go ahead and activate our auto mixer. So this is now active, and I have all of these about at the same level here, and I'm just going to go ahead and press play.
And you'll be able to translate that with your client or patient, in your case, experience, your
And
full stack
instantly,
security,
we can hear less of the room.
the recovery and full-time benefits that you get from our reliability. And with that, I'm going to punt it over to you, Greg.
All right. Well, Diane, thank you. Jerry, thank you. Really good job.
So I'll go ahead and turn it off
you know, it's,
for this next time.
what I heard in that is both, you know, accelerating the
And you'll be able to translate that with your client or patient, in your case, experience, your full stack security, the recovery and full-time benefits that you get from our reliability. And with that, I'm going to punt it over to you, Greg.
All right. Well, Diane, thank you. Jerry, thank you. Really good job. You know, it's what I heard in that is both, you know, accelerating the
And with it on.
And you'll be able to translate that with your client or patient, in your case, experience, your full stack security, the recovery and full-time benefits that you get from our reliability. And with that, I'm going to punt it over to you, Greg.
All right. Well, Diane, thank you. Jerry, thank you.
So the main difference that I'm hearing is right in the beginning. So let's go ahead and listen to that with it on.
And you'll be able to translate that with your client or patient, in your case, experience, your full stack security, the recovery and full-time benefits.
And then let's go ahead and listen to it with it off here.
And you'll be able to translate that with your client or patient, in your case, experience, your full stack security, the recovery and full-time benefits that you get from our reliability.
The main difference that I'm hearing in this is that her voice goes from being pretty far back in the mix to just boom, right in your face. And then the actual room sound from the other two microphones that are not being used at the time that she's speaking are brought down in level. Now, you could do this yourself if you were fast enough to be able to anticipate when the panelist 1 versus 3 is going to be speaking. You could be doing that with your fingers on our faders up and down. But for most people, I'm not going to be able to anticipate when one person is going to be talking and the other person is not going to be talking. So in that case, our auto mixer is going to enable us to be much faster and quicker and more accurate with our volume adjustments on our microphones that are out on stage. So like I said, this is going to be super helpful for anyone that has multiple microphones that are talking out on stage. Now, one question you're probably going to be asking is, can you use this on vocal microphones when they're out? And yeah, if you wanted to have all of them at an equal level, then yes, you absolutely could use an auto mixer for singing microphones that are out on stage. But where's the fun in that? Hey, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope this video was helpful for you today. If you do happen to have any questions, feel free to post in the comment section down below. Also, if there's a video that you're hoping that I will make, drop that in the comment section below, as I'm always looking through those comments to find videos that are going to be helpful for you. If you haven't already, check out my website at drewbrashler.com for more articles, tips, and tricks. Otherwise, thank you so much and have a great day.